Hello, welcome to the Design Tales. I'm Amber. I design patterns for knitters, and this is a podcast where I talk about new designs, usually new releases. Sometimes I'll talk about older designs, the inspiration behind them, some tips, and any other relevant information. And usually I put out an episode when I have a new design to share. And today I do have a new design to share, but I won't be showing it to you at all. And that's because it's a mystery. So I'm here today to chat about the Soul Shawl Mystery Knit Along, aka MKAL, which starts in a week from the day that I'll be publishing this video, and it will continue with weekly clues for several weeks. So today I'm going to talk about the inspiration behind the design, a few little tips for planning the design without knowing what it actually is, and just general KAL info. In a few weeks, once everybody has finished their project, I'll share the finished product here and talk some more about it. But until then, this is more of a planning episode. To begin, each year for June solstice, I like to have a knit along. I've been doing that for a few years now. Some years it's been a mystery knit along, and other years it's just been a fresh design for people to knit together without any secrets or mystery. This year my design evolution led itself to being what I considered to be a perfect little mystery knit along. So I decided to do that and have an MKAL this year. The design is called Sol, S-O-L, which is for the sun. So the Soul Shawl MKAL for solstice this year. And in thinking about the design and solstice, I'm always thinking about the southern hemisphere where I am, where it's winter solstice, and the northern hemisphere where it's summer and sunny. And when I was thinking about those two contrasts this time around, I was thinking about fires linking the two hemispheres, thinking about campfires in the northern hemisphere where people are out camping, and cozy hearth home fires in the southern hemisphere where we are very chilly at this point. And also bonfires, which often are held at solstice. I know that it's a tradition here to have a winter solstice bonfire, perhaps summer solstice. It would probably depend on the fire restrictions. We're quite a flammable country here in Australia, so there's generally no summer solstice bonfires here. Fire was kind of my starting point in the design, and cozy things, just comfort. Then I was thinking about bandanas being a fantastic versatile accessory for camping and also winter. Little cozy necktie, a knitted bandana. And that was the direction that I went with my design. And to me, the final result does lend itself to the idea of a bandana in terms of the way it's structured and the motifs. And yeah, so I consider it kind of bandana inspired, but you be the judge of that once the mystery is revealed. With the cozy factor and feeling just the overwhelm of the state of the world at this point, I felt like it would be nice just to have a really low key, as in there's a couple of potentially slightly challenging techniques. I would say overall the project is not that challenging, and I do have video tutorials that I'll be sharing along the way, so it's a good opportunity to throw yourself in and maybe try something new. I won't reveal what the techniques are at this point because I don't want to give too much away, but yeah, there's a contrast colour and a colour that will be used together, so an element of colour work. And not intarsia though, I will say that, because I know that some people just don't go there. Yeah, I'm not going to give too much away. Anyway, in what I'm saying with a relatively easy project, it's not huge. Often my mystery knit along shawls are 3 to 4 skeins, 100-gram fingering weight skeins, so 1,200, 1,600 yards, quite big projects. This one is only one 100-gram fingering weight full skein and a 20-gram mini, so a total of 400 yards plus 80 yards. And then after I finished knitting the fingering weight version, I decided to add in a DK weight option, which uses, I don't know the I don't know off the top of my head the yardage for the DK weight. I will share it in the show notes below, and I will also link to the planning page. But it's equivalent to 2 skeins of DK weight yarn and then the contrast colour, which again isn't a lot. I thought it'd be fun to have something that's just a really easy stash dive that is kind of low stakes, that people can jump in and find something lovely in their stash. Or if you like, you could treat yourself to a little set. There's several dyers I've been working with who are pre-knitting the shawl, and they've put together some lovely sets as well, which, as I say, it's essentially a sock set, 1 full skein and 1 mini skein, or a bigger set for the DK weight version. Talking about yarn, I'll show the yarn I have used for my projects and talk a little bit about the tips for yarn choice. Essentially, you'll have a main colour and then a contrast colour, and it's really important that they contrast quite strongly. So if you have a really dark main colour, ensure you've got a light contrast colour so that the contrast will pop out against the dark main colour. And vice versa. If you're using a light main colour, make sure your contrast colour is dark. So for example, these are the colours I used for my fingering weight version. And actually you might see a little bit of a matchy moment there. I knit this yet to be published Holey Moley cardigan with this gorgeous yarn from Outlaw yarn, and love the colour, and had a couple of extra skeins on hand, so I decided to use that for the fingering weight version. And I had in my stash this spin cycle colour and decided to use that as my contrast yarn, which only used like less than half a skein of that. So that's what I used for my fingering weight sample. It was certainly a stash dive. And then I decided, oh, a DK weight would be a great option to include as well. And I didn't have anything in my stash that kind of lent itself to the DK weight option. Like I knew I would need 2 skeins of the same colour for the main colour. So I was trawling through online stores and LYS, wondering what I might end up with. And I think I probably had green in mind, and this particular green popped up in the Skein Sisters store, and this is Prosper Yarns DK, which I had never used before, so I was absolutely drawn by the colour. I think I was searching DK weight yarn, looking for something different, and this one certainly popped out. It's a little bit hard to see, and that colourway is called Ent, and I love it. And initially I thought I'd use a neon green yellow with that, and then when it came to it, this kind of neonish, not quite, but beautiful peachy pink from the Wandering Flock popped out to me. So this was in my stash. So I paired those together for my DK weight version and love the result. I think it looks fabulous. I can't wait to share it with you. And then when I was reaching out to the yarn dyers about information for kits, it occurred to me that it would work well with mini skeins as well. By replacing the 100 gram fingering weight full skein with 5 minis. Ideally a fade, I think, will work best for this. So this is a fade set here. And then a strongly contrasting contrast colour. This set was kindly sent to me by Kaz from Hodgepodge Yarns. She was putting together sets for the Mystery Knit Along, so she has this set available for the MKAL, and I loved it. She kindly asked me to choose a set from those that she'd put together, and this was absolutely my first choice. And I'll give a bit more instruction about how to work the minis in the knit along so that you'll know when to change. I think that there will be a little bit left of each colour, partly due to the fact that I pad out my yardage. So I'm suggesting 400 yards for this main colour, but I do pad out the yardage by at least 10% so that there's some wriggle room for people. I'll cast on this version this week so I can work out exactly where you would be changing colours to make the most of the mini skein set. And I will tell you, I'm going to cast on with the darkest colour because I know that the contrast will be used more around here. It will be used all the way through, but more intensely around here. So I know that I'm going to get the strongest contrast there. So that's my plan. I'll be casting on with a darker pink. I'll be sharing my progress along the way. So I'll take some videos and pictures. So when Clue 1 is published, I will have knit that and we'll have pictures to show you how it all looks. So with not a huge amount of yardage, I've broken this down into 3 clues, and each clue is quite different to the previous clue. So the first clue isn't repeated, the second clue is different, and the third clue something else again. So I'm hoping to keep it interesting, but not too challenging. There's not an overwhelming amount to knit each week to keep up. However, if you're not able to keep up, that's fine. The knit along continues for another month or so after the last clue. So there's plenty of time to finish up and share your projects. I have a prize thread, FO prize thread in the Ravelry group that I will be drawing from, and pretty much the KAL activities happening there. I have a pre-KAL thread open now, so people are chatting in there already and sharing the colours that they plan to use and just generally offering moral support, which is lovely. And then each week I'll open up 2 new threads, one with spoilers, so people who want to share pictures straight away and see a picture straight away, and then one with no spoilers, because there's always at least a couple of people that like to knit the mystery without actually seeing it at all, just knit from the pattern. So there'll be a no spoilers thread for those people where they won't be sharing photos. If they want to see pictures, they can go to the spoilers thread. Each week in the Ravelry group, there'll be those 2 threads opened up, and that will be for 3 weeks, is 3 clues, so 3 weeks of clues, and then it just turns into a general chat for the remainder of the knit along. The pattern is available in my Ravelry and PayHit stores, and each week when a new clue comes out, that will be updated, so you'll get notification that there's been a new addition to the pattern that you purchased. If you purchase it prior to the KAL, firstly, you'll get a nice 25% off discount. I'm offering a special offer until the KAL starts. And you'll also receive a project planning sheet that has the yardages and the tips about choosing the yarn and gauge. So general information for you to start getting organised for the knit along. Most of the activity happens in the Ravelry group. We'll be able to see projects on social media with the hashtag Shawl MKAL 2026. In terms of drawing a winner, I have an FO thread in the Ravelry group. If you're not able to use Ravelry and you'd like to submit your project for a prize, just let me know. I'll add it in as an entry for you and let you know if you win. I randomly select winners from the posts in the FO thread, and I find that the easiest way just to keep it in one place. So feel free to email me if you want to be included. I won't necessarily include your name or anything, only the details that you might want to have included, but I'll know who you are and you'll be assigned a post number and then eligible for the random prize selection. Plus, everyone gets to see the gallery of gorgeous shawls as they are finished. I'll link to my blog post below that has all the details and links. You can also download the KAL cover sheet there for free, so you can just check that out before committing to the pattern if you like, and to help you get organised for in 1 week. This Friday, Australian time, will be the official cast on day, and then for the following 2 Fridays, I will be sending the clue updates, clue 1, 2 and 3. And that's all I can really share at the moment. Do let me know if you've got any questions, post them in the comments below and I'll answer them. Come join us in the pre-KAL chat thread over in Ravelry and share the beautiful yarn that you're planning to use. I'm looking forward to seeing everyone's projects get started. There's some gorgeous yarn that I can't wait to see knit up. So meanwhile, I'll cast on my 3rd version and get cracking with that so I can share clue 1 with you next week. Until then, happy knitting. Have a great week, and hopefully you'll come join us for the mystery. Thanks for watching.